On to our top story first. It's the big political move some saw coming but has taken many by surprise. K. Annamalai, the BJP's Tamil Nadu talisman, may be on his way out of the party. The former Tamil Nadu BJP President spent the day in the national capital today, meeting the party's top brass, including Home Minister Amit Shah. Reports say that the BJP leader will take a decision on his departure from the party over the next 24 to 48 hours. Some other reports say the BJP is doing all it can to convince Annamalai to stay. Now, what we have been hearing, though, is simply this. Annamalai wants to go out on his own and form a political outfit that will eventually contest elections. The young leader that has been the BJP's face in Tamil Nadu for nearly a decade now has decided to carve out his own political identity and start a political party of his own. What is important to Annamalai, however, we're hearing, is that he leaves the BJP on cordial terms with the party's top leadership, and hence his visit to the national capital. So to hear from about all these developments, we're now joined by our correspondent Dharani, who's on ground tracking Annamalai's prospective departure from the BJP. Dharani, over to you.
A former Tamil Nadu BJP chief K. Annamalai is in fact right now in Delhi. He has had a series of meetings with senior leaders like Nitin Nabin, B.L. Santosh and Home Minister Amit Shah. And during these meetings, we are given to understand that Annamalai has orally conveyed his decision to quit the Bharatiya Janata Party. But the BJP top brass have told him to wait. They've told him to hold for the next 24 hours. After internal discussions, we'll get back to you. Until then, stay back in Delhi and hold your thoughts for the next 24 to 36 hours is what the BJP top brass have told Annamalai. But Annamalai, it looks like he is very firm on his decision. He wants to part ways with the BJP, but he wants this to happen in an as amicable way as possible. He doesn't want any bitterness. He wants to leave the BJP in good terms is what we're understanding at this point in time. So for the time being, Annamalai will continue to remain in Delhi, and he has already conveyed his decision to leave the party, and tomorrow or the day after we'll get a clarity as to whether the BJP has been able to convince Annamalai otherwise or not, because right now the matter is in the hands of the BJP top brass. If they're able to convince Annamalai otherwise, and if they're able to make Annamalai stay, then it will be good for the party. But if they're not able to do that, then Annamalai is most likely to come out of the party, make it public, and then launch his own political outfit is what we're learning at this point in time.
So the question remains, what does this mean for the BJP in Tamil Nadu? Are we seeing the emergence of yet another young leader from the state? And what caused Annamalai to consider leaving the Saffron Party in the first place? To make sense of this, I'm now joined by political analyst Sumant Raman. Mr. Sumant Raman, as always, a great pleasure having you with us here on South Central. What are your thoughts on Annamalai's latest departure from the BJP? Do you feel the prospect of the BJP possibly weighing him down in his personal growth as a politician from the state could have been a key factor in this decision that he's making?
I think that, Jude, that this seems to be somehow having the blessings of the BJP. I don't think that this is something where Annamalai has suddenly decided to come out and, strike out on his own and take on the BJP. I don't believe that is likely to be happening. I think that, they've worked out some kind of a understanding where he will be a proxy of the BJP for some time, and then they will take a call depending on the progress. There are a number of reasons why this seems very likely. One, the BJP has not been able to make much headway in Tamil Nadu. It seems to have certain negative connotations associated with it as a kind of North Indian Hindi-speaking party. Now, Annamalai will have the license. So, for instance, recently he attacked the three-language policy of the center. Because that is the popular sentiment in Tamil Nadu. So issues like these, positions which he could not take when he was in the BJP, he is now free to take. And at the same time, he remains within the control or the overall, umbrella of the BJP without making it very apparent that that's where he is. So I think the BJP is trying something new in Tamil Nadu.
Now, I hear you when you say that it may well have the blessings of the BJP itself, and I will admit that thought, has crossed my mind before, Mrs. Sumant. But I also wonder, do you possibly feel striking out on his own and starting his own political party startup in many ways could also allow Annamalai to perhaps be perceived as more palatable to the TVK? Remember, the TVK is perhaps Tamil Nadu's strongest political party as on date. Is this possibly room for a possible alliance between Annamalai, the politician, and the TVK without the baggage of the BJP?
I'm not too sure he will be pitted as a kind of ally of the TVK. I think that he would probably try to emerge as a counterpoint to the TVK. The TVK in the last few weeks, ever since they came to office, has been pushing more down the Dravidian party road. And Annamalai may choose the counterbalancing space, maybe right of center, slightly soft Hindutva, that kind of an approach. Which could appeal to a lot of people. And the youth vote, he would be a direct competitor to Vijay because he's actually about 7-8 years younger than Vijay. So I think that there would be a direct competition for the youth vote. And Annamalai will have, the vote of those who earlier voted AIADMK, the voters who voted BJP. So the whole lot of those votes would also shift to him. So I think that I don't think he's sort of positioning himself as an ally of the TVK. I see him positioning himself as a rival to the TVK.
Now, Mr. Sumant, where does this departure leave the BJP in Tamil Nadu? For 10 years now, Annamalai was the party's face in the state. He fronted almost all of their contests, barring the last one. Surely his departure now means the party is staring at a bit of an existential wall. What becomes of it as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned?
I think that it will certainly weaken the BJP in the short term. Now, we can weaken the official BJP, if I can use that term, because a lot of the BJP supporters would shift to Annamalai. So there's no doubt that even that 3% or whatever they got recently, that will get eroded significantly. But having said that, if he indeed is going to be a proxy for the BJP, then who else he attracts is going to be a very significant matter. Whether he's going to be able to attract, people across the spectrum, whether he would be a point of attraction for, say, the Gen Z youth of the DMK, we don't know, because youth have a completely different perspective than how we think, which is why Vijay is in power today. So I think it's going to be extremely interesting to see what he does. I don't think now, seeing the moves now, I don't think it's a non-political movement, or even if it is a non-political movement, it will remain that way for a long time. I'm sure it's going to be a political party before too long.
Right, Mr. Sumant. But what does this departure also say about the emergence of young leaders, at least in the recent few months as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned? You already have a young chief minister in the state. I mean, at 51, Vijay still is perhaps the second youngest chief minister that Tamil Nadu has seen, at least as far as the state's history is concerned. We're also seeing the fact that a lot of young leaders are emerging at this time and place, with an eye on 2029, when for the first time, the post-1990s generation will probably turn out to vote in large numbers. What do you make of this tectonic shift in demographics, especially given the fact that you now have Vijay, you have Udayanidhi Stalin still in his late 40s, and now Annamalai also emerging to give them competition? Is this tranche of young leaders now set to stay as far as Tamil Nadu's demographics and electoral patterns are concerned?
Yeah, I think we need to be cautious before we sort of go down that route. The only one who's really certain of holding control of the party and growing that is Udayanidhi, simply because it's a family business. It's more like a family enterprise. So that is there for him to control, to run for the next few years. Vijay will depend on how he performs, whether he has the staying power. Yes, because he's young. He's got another 30 years potentially in politics. So he has the staying power to absorb a few knocks and come back. But we'll have to wait and see on his performance as a chief minister. Annamalai, yes, so far he did have the backing of India's largest political party. He had the backing of the central government. Now, on his own, trying to build a political base for himself, trying to build an organization structure, what kind of impact. But I think the success of Vijay Jude, I think, has made everyone think, somebody can just come out of the blue just because he's a big star. And in 2 years after forming a party, become chief minister of the state. Why not others? So I think that is what is driving. And I think you will see across India, you will see younger people taking the plunge and giving it a shot. After all, I think that's the biggest lesson that Vijay's victory, has sort of given, where you will see people in their 40s and 50s wanting to branch off. Earlier on, they would never have thought of it. They would always want to be under the umbrella of a big party. But now people are saying, why not? Let's give it a shot. And I think if social media and the Gen Z youth are supporting you, who knows where you can go?
Well, Sumant Raman, as always, thank you so much for joining us and breaking down some of these insights. Well, moving on to Karnataka next. Even before DK Shivkumar formally takes charge as Karnataka's next chief minister, the Siddaramaiah camp is mounting a strong push to retain its influence in the new government. Congress MLAs aligned with the former chief minister have now descended on the AICC headquarters in New Delhi as the party leadership works out the contours of the new cabinet. With only a limited number of ministers expected to be inducted in the first phase, intense lobbying, we're told, is underway over who gets a berth and which faction secures the bigger share of power. The cabinet formation, remember, is emerging as the first major test of Shivkumar's leadership, with the Congress High Command tasked with balancing competing claims to these positions. In fact, my colleague Imran now joins us with the latest on everything that's happening with regard to portfolio allocation.
The thing is, the meeting has just now started. What is the process is that the Siddaramaiah will meet the ACC state in charge, Karnataka, Randeep Surjewala and KC Venugopal there. And then the meeting, these two observers will also meet the DK Shivkumar and collect all the cabinet list, what he has, his candidates for it. And after that, the CM designate and all these observers will meet AC President Mallikarjun Kharge. But the final round of talks will have approval with Rahul Gandhi and the cabinet list will be formed. Now they look mixed of both young and old is what they're looking at. Plus they're also looking at caste and region-wise combination. It's very important for them because after 2 years, the elections are happening in Karnataka. So they have to get their arithmetic very clear and ensure that also that the interests of the former chief minister, a strong OBC leader, Siddaramaiah, has to be kept in mind. We know that there is his son will be part of the ministry. He's looking for medical education, is what party sources are informing us. But all this now will be in a discussion. The crucial meeting has started. It's likely to go until late in the evening, and because they have to finish it by today, as tomorrow there's an important oath-taking ceremony of the CM designate DK Shivkumar, and the new cabinet will also, along with 10 to 15 is what we're getting to know the cabinet ministers who will take oath as part of the first round.
Well, power moves in Karnataka there in full force. But staying with the state, Karnataka, in fact, is also looking to strengthen its position as a data center hub, with the state government preparing a first-of-its-kind incentive program for companies and startups developing innovative cooling technology. The move is expected to form part of the next phase of the state's data center policy and is aimed at addressing one of the sector's biggest challenges, and that's water and energy consumption. According to industry estimates cited by officials, a 100-megawatt data center can consume nearly 2 million liters of water every day. Karnataka is now exploring incentives for low-water, energy-efficient cooling solutions, while also considering benefits for renewable energy-powered facilities. The state is expected to extend additional support for projects beyond Bengaluru under its Beyond Bengaluru initiative, as it seeks to attract fresh investments into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Early today, CII chairman for the southern region, P. Ravichandran, told me what he thought of the initiative. Listen.
See, naturally, as you know, data centers require a lot of cooling, and also it requires a lot of innovation. See, there's a lot of difference in building a 1 gigawatt data center because today most of the technologies that data centers have built is for hyperscalers. Right. And they are all big in size. They are built in the deserts of the Virginias and the US area. But we are trying to build data centers not at the size of hyperscalers. But certainly we need a lot of innovation, both in terms of technology, processes, and all of this. So it's a very, very welcome move. Having said that, data center, as I explained to you, 1 gigawatt data center brings in about 70,000 crores of investment. And there's a spillover effect. 25,000 crores of that it gets into steel, cement, and you know all the raw material that is needed to put up the data center. So there is a big GDP accelerator with the data center investment. But far more positive is a data center also requires stable environment for electricity. So it brings in a lot of green power investment into the state as well, right? You recently heard that Google is building a data center in Vizag. It comes with a green power investment. The more you add green power into your coal, actually your overall cost comes down actually. And a data center as a customer to a discom is a welcome change because it really helps them to bring down the cost of operations as well. So I'm very optimistic. And also water is another big area. If you want for liquid cooled data centers, you also have a water infrastructure that is created. So I think there's a lot of positivity on innovation. And I think what Karnataka is doing, I'm sure it's a welcome change actually.
Well, moving on to court action next, the Supreme Court has come down heavily on forest encroachments in Tamil Nadu's ecologically sensitive Agastyamalai landscape, directing the state government to draw up a time-bound action plan within a month to remove thousands of encroachers from forest land. In a significant order, the Apex Court also asked the Tamil Nadu government to initiate disciplinary and legal proceedings against 118 government officials identified as having encroached on forest land. The court said environmental restoration charges and additional penalties could be imposed, while warning that failure to act could attract administrative accountability at the highest level of government. Moving on, just days after the TVK-led Tamil Nadu government announced plans to scrap Chennai's proposed second airport in the town of Parandur, the industry has re-emphasized the need for the city to have a second airport. In a chat with South Central earlier today, CII chairman for South India, P. Ravichandran, told me that Chennai has been in desperate need for a second airport as well as improved efficiencies in its existing airport. However, he added that it did not matter whether that airport were to take form and shape in Parandur or not. The CII boss in South India also told ET Now that the industry has requested the Tamil Nadu government for some semblance of power tariff certainty for the next 3 years. Here's a slice of that conversation.
I think we are working on different methodologies to address the skill challenges. First is to really bring back the people who left. As you know, they went for northeastern elections, and we do believe over the next 2 to 3 weeks, at least 60 to 70% of them will be back. But having said, the problem is much bigger. We need to build that skills, and one of the big focus areas for us is to bring more women in manufacturing.
Right. I have to ask you, as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, you've been meeting with the new government from time to time. There is a new look, team of ministers, starting with the chief minister himself. We spoke the last time about how those interactions have fared thus far. But one sore thumb that has stuck out is that Parandur airport issue. CII has expressed intent and support for a second airport in the past, but this government has said that even that airport, should it take form and shape, it cannot happen at Parandur. Is this bound to be an issue of conflict between you and the government?
No, we don't have any conflict. See, one of the things which is very important is that Tamil Nadu needs a second big airport in Chennai. It doesn't matter for us where it happens, but it has to happen very fast.
If this airport were to happen fast, and the fact is that previous governments had earmarked Parandur, the land acquisition, a large part of it already happened. But if there's going to be a reversal now, do you see there to be a situation where paralysis occurs, you go back to the drawing board, and is that going to cause a fair bit of delay?
I mean, I have not seen the official version of full stop on Parandur actually, and we have not discussed this yet with the government. But from my perspective, as you know already, we have slipped to the 7th, in terms of passenger traffic in Chennai. Chennai first needs an uplift. Whether we need the second airport is the second part actually. Chennai needs a big upliftment, and that's something we are working and engaging with the Airports Authority of India. But certainly we need a decision on Parandur or the alternative as fast as possible actually.
Right. Electricity. You just finished the meeting with the electricity minister, the newly appointed one here in Tamil Nadu. I think green energy and getting tariffs down has been right atop your list of priority. Could you give us an update on how that meeting went and what will be the way forward on those fronts?
So we had a brief interaction this morning with the electricity minister, and he wanted a more detailed sitting with CII members. I think there are 3 things that we spoke. One is he mentioned about how we need to work together to make sure that we work on some of the strategic challenges that are there. When it comes to green energy, I think we have to build the evacuation capacity, the transmission lines, and how quickly we can evacuate energy. Because, today a lot of energy is, generated as independent producers. But solar, if you take, for example, it's only 11 to 3. But how do you make it round the clock, which requires a lot of capex actually. So we have to sit down and look at how do we build a lot more capex into the solar energy. But the second thing we spoke about is that, the time of day tariff as well. If the industry can have a flexibility on when solar energy is more. The third also is one of the asks is, we need predictability on the industrial power costs, right? All other states are offering more attractive prices. So one of our asks is how can we freeze the tariffs for the next 3 years actually. But again, he has offered us a meeting next week, and we will further dwell on this topic.
Right. Moving on then, flexible workspace operator Smartworks has said it will invest 70 crore rupees to add nearly 4.92 lakh square feet of managed office space at Sattva Aura on Bengaluru's Outer Ring Road. This even as it targets rising demand from GCCs and large enterprises. The expansion takes the company's leased portfolio to 13.7 million square feet, reinforcing Bengaluru's position as India's hottest office market for flexible workspaces. The company's leadership spoke to ET Now about its latest phase of expansion. Let's listen in.
I think it is just another edition of a large campus. Smartworks has put itself in a very unique position where we take up these large individual campuses. This is a 500,000 square foot building that we've taken in Bangalore. But our largest asset in Bangalore is almost 40% bigger than this, which is currently at more than 95% occupancy. So we're seeing a significant amount of demand coming up. 500,000 square foot will accommodate more than 10,000 seats in the building. With the kind of demand that we're seeing in Bangalore and in other parts of the country coming up, we're fairly confident, of this asset. We're spending a total of 70 crores on the investment into the asset, the capex that will go up front. And we are already seeing a significant amount of demand coming in from the asset. With this asset, our total asset under management goes up to over 16 million square foot of space, which showcase the Smartworks' unique ability of creating and growing at a pace by taking up such large campuses.
Well, on that note, it's a wrap on the bulletin today. Thanks so much for watching. But South Central will be back same time, same place tomorrow with more news and updates from South India. But for the moment, it's goodbye from us.